to Stunt Wheelie School, where for the last few years now during the summer I've worked as an instructor teaching people how to do clutch up wheelies. I like working there for a few reasons. I get to ride with a lot of like-minded people, teach them how to wheelie and watch their progress throughout the day. We have a nice big strip where we ride, which is great for training. And more often than not, the students will chuck me the keys to their pride and joy and get me to rip mingers up the strip on them and then explain to them how best to wheelie the bikes, which means over the years I've wheelied hundreds of different bikes. So I thought I'd start documenting all the different bikes I wheelie, and some of them are pretty mad. And then if that can help you out, even better. And if you've got any questions or you want to see me wheelie any specific bike, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to get back to you. Okay, we're at the Stunt Asylum strip and we're going to be looking at the first gen Yamaha 1999 R6 5EB. The first generations were carbon models, so I expect these to bog a little bit when they wheelie. This bike is absolutely mint, hasn't had anything changed on it. I think originally they were about 108 horsepower at the factory at the wheel. Over the years, horses escaped the stables. I'm pretty sure this is going to be about 100. The only thing I'm worried about is this exhaust can sticks out past the tail. So if I rip this back, is that exhaust can going to hit the floor and rip off? I'm not sure. It's a little bit of a crime to wheelie a bike this nice, this old. But that's exactly what we're going to do next, so we'll see how it wheelies. Okay, so we are here at the Stunt Asylum strip. I feel guilty lifting this bike. It's far too old and far too clean. So I'm just going to get it warmed up now. Because it's a carb bike, I expect it to be a little bit boggy when I start to lift it high. A couple of things you want to check before you wheelie. One, that your chain's tight or the correct amount of torsion on the chain. You also want to check that your oil is filled at least over halfway on the spyglass, preferably to the top of the spyglass, especially on older carb bikes. And most importantly, you want to check that your back brake works enough to lock the wheel, and if you've got ABS, make sure it works enough for the ABS to kick in. That's really important. So normally I just go along, give it a couple little skids at the rear brake just as a bit of confidence. Cool, she's nice and warm now. Beautiful. I tell you what, for a 23 year old bike, this bike is pretty good looking for an old girl. So we're going to fire her now. My fingers are already over the clutch, hopefully you can see this. Accelerate up to about 6 grand, dump the clutch. I mean, she flies, man. I'm being a bit of a joker here because I'm going way too fast for her to slow it down, but it's fun. And luckily at this spot, just over there in the distance, we've got Essex Air Ambulance, so if anything does go wrong, they've only got to fly to here and get me. Okay, let's bring it up high and smooth now. Let's stop chasing it. So I'm going to accelerate, fingers ready over the clutch, accelerate to about 6 grand, drop that clutch. And that's the whole strip quite comfortably. Okay, as I mentioned before, sit downs are great, but stand ups allow me to see over the bike, which is really important. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to utilise the foot plate in the back of this bike to lift it, and I can see over the top there, and that lifts a lot more controllably. Let's go back past Nick. So let's get in that foot plate position. It's good to scrub bars here actually. Look at that, she just sails. We'll do 1 or 2 more. So I can actually lift the bike a lot slower like this. So foot in the foot plate, looking forwards, bit of gas, dip the clutch. And she comes up. This is nice. I've done a couple of wheelies now and you can hear she's starting to bog. That's where I'm draining all the fuel out of them float bars and it's struggling to get enough fuel to run the engine at the revs I want. This is quite common with car bikes. It doesn't damage them, but you know, it's just one of those annoying things. So let's try and bring it a bit higher now and see if it really bogs, see if that exhaust touches. That is high. She's sitting at BP there. I tell you what, once she's up, she's quite light and there's plenty of power in this. You don't need to spend a lot of money to have fun. I mean, look at this. Over 60 miles an hour in first gear on a 20-something-year-old bike. I don't think you can get much more bang for your buck. Right, we're going to do one more stand-up just because it was fun. So, foot in the rear seat. I'm giving it less gas, less clutch because my weight's going to pull it up. We're up. And she's just sailing. Look at that. Awesome. So, overall, for its age, it's a good looking bit of kit. Twin headlights, looks like a race bike, 20-something years old. It's a good looking old bird. I'm pretty impressed with how it lifts. There's plenty of power there to have a bit of fun. Yes, if you lift it high for long times, it's going to bog, but it's a carb 600, right? That can is atrocious. I wish Yamaha didn't put that on to start with. But other than that, that is a fun bike to wheelie, more than enough power. And the power was nice and smooth. It ain't like the new R6s where it's almost like riding a two-stroke. There's nothing and everything. I'd recommend it for £1.5, not bad at all. And in the next video, we'll be ripping wheelies on a supermoto, which is going to be the 2022 Husqvarna FS 450.